In the rich fabric of American history, a figure emerges, Thomas Jefferson, whose ideals shaped a nation. Welcome to The Founders of Freedom, Revolutionary Minds. Today's episode, Thomas Jefferson, penning the promise of a new nation, takes us deep into his life and legacy. Discover how his vision still echoes through time and join us as we explore the story of the man behind "All men are created equal." The journey starts now. Let's rewind to April 13th, 1743, in Shadwell, Virginia. Here, in the lush landscapes of colonial America, a future giant of American history is born, Thomas Jefferson. Picture a sprawling plantation, a world of both privilege and complexity. This is where our story begins. Jefferson was born into a prominent family, his father a successful planter and surveyor, his mother from a distinguished colonial family. This backdrop, a mix of affluence, agriculture, and the complexities of early American society, played a crucial role in shaping young Jefferson. Fast forward a few years, and we find a young Jefferson showing signs of an insatiable appetite for knowledge. He was a voracious reader, diving into books the way we dive into our smartphones. Imagine a teenager today who's into everything: coding, gaming, vlogging, you name it. That was Jefferson, but with 18th century flavor: languages, science, philosophy, law. His education at the College of William and Mary wasn't just about cramming for exams. It was an odyssey of intellectual awakening. This period was critical in shaping Jefferson's future, fueling his passion for learning and setting the stage for his multifaceted career. Now think about the people who influence you: YouTubers, artists, activists. For Jefferson, it was the rock stars of the Enlightenment era. We're talking about thinkers like John Locke and Isaac Newton. These guys were challenging the norms, pushing the boundaries of science, philosophy, and politics. Their ideas on individual rights, science, and democracy profoundly impacted Jefferson. It's like how today's thought leaders and innovators shape our understanding of the world. Jefferson absorbed these ideas, which later became evident in his writings and political philosophy. All right, let's take a quick break for an interactive quiz. Think you know Jefferson? What were some of his hobbies and interests outside of politics? Was he into gardening, architecture, music, all of the above or none? Drop your answers in the comments below and let's see who's on their way to becoming a Jefferson expert. Got your answers in? If you picked all of the above, you're right on the money. Jefferson wasn't just about politics. He had a passion for gardening, a flair for architecture, and loved music. His diverse interests were a testament to his belief in living a well-rounded life. Now that we've seen the makings of the man, let's delve deeper into how these early experiences set the stage for Jefferson's eventual rise to political prominence and his lasting impact on the United States. Imagine being so passionate about something that you decide to change your career path. That's exactly what Thomas Jefferson did. Initially planning to be a lawyer, Jefferson was drawn into politics by the swirling winds of change in the American colonies. He entered the Virginia legislature in the early 1770s, a time when tensions between the colonies and Britain were heating up like a final round in a gaming tournament. His eloquence, knowledge, and commitment to colonial rights quickly made him a standout player in the political arena. In 1775, as the conflict with Britain reached a boiling point, Jefferson was chosen as a delegate to the Continental Congress. It was like being selected for the all-star team, except the game was about freedom and the future of a nation. Here's where things get epic. In 1776, Jefferson faced the ultimate task: drafting the Declaration of Independence. Imagine you're assigned a group project where the outcome could change the course of history. No pressure, right? Jefferson, only 33 at the time, was up to the challenge. He was tasked with putting into words the colony's reasons for breaking away from Britain. This wasn't just about stringing together fancy words. It was about capturing the ideals and hopes of a people ready for change. Jefferson had to navigate political opinions regional interests, and the weight of the moment to draft a document that would declare the colony's independence. Let's break down some of the Declaration's key phrases, but with a twist. Think of it like translating old-school language into today's lingo. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This was like the ultimate mic drop moment. Jefferson was saying, "Listen up. It's obvious to everyone that we're all born with the same worth and rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Think of this as the ultimate life goals hashtag. Jefferson was outlining the fundamental rights everyone should have: to live freely, enjoy life, and go after what makes them happy. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This is like saying, "Hey, the people are in charge here, not some king across the ocean. The government works for us, not the other way around." All right, let's play a quick game of myths versus facts. Here's a common myth. Jefferson was a frontline soldier in the Revolution. Fact or fiction? If you said fiction, you're right. While Jefferson played a crucial role in the political and ideological aspects of the Revolution, he wasn't out there on the battlefield. Here's another. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence all by himself. Well, that's partly true. He was the main author, but other members of the committee, like John Adams and Benjamin Franklin, made edits and suggestions. As we continue to explore Jefferson's life, it's clear that his role in the Declaration of Independence was just one of his many contributions to the birth of a nation. Next, we'll dive into his presidency and the Louisiana Purchase, pivotal moments that shaped America's destiny. Picture this. It's the early 1800s, and Thomas Jefferson, the guy who penned the Declaration of Independence, becomes the third president of the United States. His presidency was like a new level in a game, filled with challenges and opportunities. Jefferson's policies focused on reducing the national debt and limiting the power of the federal government. Think of it as a less is more approach. But his presidency wasn't all smooth sailing. He faced challenges like conflicts with Britain and France and the divisive politics of the time. It was a period of navigating through tough waters, trying to keep the young nation on course. Now let's talk about the Louisiana Purchase, a blockbuster deal in American history. In 1803, Jefferson made a move that doubled the size of the United States. He bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million, which might sound like a steal, but back then, it was a massive amount. This wasn't just a simple real estate transaction. It was a mega deal that had huge implications. The purchase sparked controversy. Some said Jefferson overstepped his presidential powers, while others worried about the cost and how it would integrate with the rest of the country. But this deal massively expanded the nation's territory, opening up opportunities for westward expansion and growth. Think of it like unlocking a whole new area in a massive open-world game. Let's bring this to life with a map. Here's the U.S. before and after the Louisiana Purchase. Watch the nation's size literally double. This massive expansion included rich lands, vital for agriculture and trade, stretching all the way to what we now know as the Western United States. Now, let's dive into a debate that's as relevant today as it was back then. Jefferson is known as a champion of liberty, yet he was a slave owner. How do we reconcile these two aspects of his life? On one hand, he advocated for human rights and freedom. On the other, he owned and profited from the enslavement of people. It's a stark contradiction and a window into the complexities of historical figures. This story is much more complex than we will dive into in this video. Think about it. Can someone be a hero and deeply flawed at the same time? How do we weigh their contributions against their actions that contradict their principles? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a discussion about understanding historical figures in their entirety, not just the parts we admire. As we continue to explore Jefferson's legacy, these complexities and contradictions remain central to our understanding of his impact on American history. Imagine hitting the retire button after being the president. That's what Thomas Jefferson did in 1809. He returned to his beloved home, Monticello in Virginia. This wasn't just any retirement home, it was a reflection of Jefferson himself, architect, farmer, scientist, and philosopher. Here, Jefferson immersed himself in his personal pursuits: architecture, agriculture, and education. Monticello was more than a residence. It was a laboratory for Jefferson's endless curiosity. He continued his experiments with plant breeding, architectural innovation, and even dabbled in inventions. Monticello was a physical manifestation of Jefferson's belief in continual learning and improvement. Jefferson's passion for education didn't dim with his retirement. In fact, he kicked it up a notch. Think of him as the ultimate advocate for lifelong learning. His crowning educational achievement was the founding of the University of Virginia in 1819. Jefferson believed that education was vital for a healthy democracy. He envisioned a university free from religious influence, focusing on practical and classical knowledge, a radical idea at the time. The University of Virginia was his attempt to shape an enlightened citizenry, capable of governing a free society. Jefferson's commitment to education reminds us of the power of knowledge in shaping a nation's future. All right, let's tackle the big question: Jefferson's legacy, the good, the bad, and the controversial. On one hand, he's a founding father, a drafter of the Declaration of Independence, and a visionary president. His contributions to the formation of the United States are undeniable. But there's the flip side: Jefferson, the slave owner, the man whose words often contradicted his actions. He wrote about liberty and equality while owning and profiting from enslaved people. This contradiction is a stark reminder of the complexities of history and its figures. Jefferson's legacy is a mixed bag, a blend of high ideals and flawed practices. It challenges us to think critically about the past and the people who shaped it. As we wrap up our journey through Jefferson's life, let's bring his story into today's context. Jefferson's ideas about liberty, democracy, and education still resonate. His vision for America as a land of opportunity and self-governance continues to influence political thought. Yet, his contradictions remind us that history isn't black and white. It's full of nuances and complexities that we must grapple with. Jefferson's life invites us to question, learn, and understand the multifaceted nature of history. It encourages us to recognize the achievements while acknowledging the flaws and learning from them. Jefferson's story is not just a chapter in a history book, it's a narrative that continues to inform and challenge our understanding of America. Thank you for joining this exploration into Thomas Jefferson's life. As we reflect on his legacy, let's carry forward the spirit of inquiry and critical thinking he so passionately advocated. Make sure to watch the next video in our Founding Fathers series, The Founders of Freedom, Revolutionary Minds, and don't forget to like and share this video if it sparked your curiosity about one of America's most influential figures.